Hey there, fellow seekers of wisdom. Have you ever felt like toxic people are draining the life out of you, no matter how hard you try to rise above it? You're not alone. We've all been there. But today, we're going beyond frustration. Instead of just enduring these toxic interactions, we're going to learn how to thrive despite them. And who better to guide us than the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius? His timeless wisdom is like armor for the soul, equipping us to handle even the most difficult people with grace, strength, and unshakable resilience. So, if you're ready to rise above the noise, let's dive into the Stoic path, where we'll uncover 11 powerful strategies rooted in ancient wisdom that will help you transform how you deal with toxic individuals. These strategies aren't quick fixes. They're tools that can strengthen your emotional resilience and help you stand firm in the face of negativity. Let's get started. Strategy number 1, understanding the problem. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that's the key right there. Toxic people may stir up chaos, manipulate, and drain your energy, but the truth is, they can't control you. The only power they have is the power you give them. Let me share a quick story. Imagine a seasoned sailor navigating a stormy sea. The winds howl, the waves crash, and everything outside seems determined to sink the ship. But the sailor remains calm, steering steadily, focused on what he can control, the sails and the wheel. He can't change the storm, but he can control how he navigates through it. Toxic people are like those storms. They might rage around you, but you're the one at the wheel. The first step in handling toxic individuals is understanding that the real battle isn't with them. It's with your own mind. It's how you choose to interpret their actions and respond to their negativity. Once you realize that, you reclaim your power. Toxic people can throw their worst at you, but it's your inner response that determines whether they win or lose. Strategy number 2, setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls meant to shut people out. They're bridges that protect your peace. Think of them as guiding lines that help others understand how far they can go before crossing into territory that affects your well-being. As Marcus Aurelius wisely reminds us, you are in control of what you tolerate. In other words, it's up to you to define what behavior you allow in your life. Let me tell you a quick story. There was once a farmer who had a beautiful garden full of lush flowers and healthy crops. But one day, a neighbor's goats kept wandering in, trampling the plants and ruining the hard work he'd put in. The farmer was patient at first, hoping it would stop on its own, but it didn't. So, he finally built a simple fence, not to block his neighbor out, but to protect what mattered most to him, his garden. Just like that farmer, you have to build boundaries, not as barriers of isolation, but as acts of self-respect. Don't be afraid to say no when someone oversteps. Protect your mental and emotional space with the same care that farmer protected his garden. After all, your peace is worth defending. Strategy number 3, practicing self-compassion. When we encounter toxic people, it's easy to feel like we're the problem, as if their negativity is somehow a reflection of our worth. But here's the thing. Marcus Aurelius teaches us the opposite. He says, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This means that we should hold ourselves to a standard of truth and kindness, but it also means we shouldn't take on the burden of others' toxic behavior. Let me share a story. There was once a sculptor who created a beautiful marble statue. One day, a critic came by and pointed out every little flaw he could find, tearing down the sculptor's work. The sculptor could have taken it to heart, believing every harsh word. Instead, he smiled, knowing that his creation wasn't about pleasing others, but about reflecting his own vision and craft. He didn't let the critic's negativity shape his perception of his art. In the same way, when others act in toxic or negative ways, don't internalize their behavior. Practice self-compassion. Understand that their actions are a reflection of them, not you. Be gentle with yourself, just like Marcus reminds us. Refuse to carry the weight of someone else's negativity, and instead, treat yourself with the kindness and understanding you deserve. Strategy number 4, cultivating Stoic serenity. In life, we can't control the storms that come our way, but we can control how we stand in the middle of them. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. That's the essence of Stoic serenity, remaining calm and centered even when the world around you feels chaotic. Let me tell you a short story. There was once a wise old monk who lived high in the mountains. One day a traveler came to visit him, seeking advice. The traveler complained about how people in his life were making him angry and stressed. The monk smiled and pointed to a river outside his window, where a large boulder sat in the water. Despite the raging current, the rock stood solid, unshaken. "Be like the rock," the monk said. "No matter how strong the current, it cannot move you unless you let it." Just like that rock in the river, when toxic people try to drag you into their chaos, you can choose to remain grounded. Don't let their negativity shake your peace. The more you cultivate that inner calm, the less power others will have over your emotional state. It's not about avoiding the storm, but about standing firm in the midst of it, unshaken and serene. Strategy number 5, focusing on your values. When dealing with toxic people, it's easy to get caught up in their drama and lose sight of what really matters. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us to stay rooted in our core values. He said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." In other words, don't let others distract you from living according to your principles. Here's a short story to illustrate this. There was once a ship captain who sailed through treacherous waters. His crew often panicked when storms hit and the ship rocked violently. But the captain stayed calm, steering by the stars, his guiding points. No matter how bad the storm got, he never lost sight of them, and because of that, he always found his way home. Just like that captain, your values are your guiding stars. Toxic people may try to pull you into their negativity, but if you stay focused on what matters to you, integrity, kindness, growth, you won't get lost in their storms. Keep your eyes on your own path, and let your values be the compass that guides your actions, no matter what chaos surrounds you. Strategy number 6, building a strong support system. In life, toxic people can make us feel isolated, as though we're facing the negativity alone. But here's where Marcus Aurelius' wisdom comes in. He believed in the power of community. He once wrote, "We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth." In other words, we thrive when we lean on others for support. Let me share a story. There was a man who loved hiking in the mountains, and one day he set out on a long trek. Halfway up, he slipped on a rock and injured his leg. Struggling to keep going, he was about to give up when another hiker came along. This stranger didn't just pass by. He offered his arm, helped carry his pack, and walked with him until they both reached the summit. What seemed impossible alone became achievable together. Just like that hiker, you don't have to face toxic people or tough situations on your own. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. Friends, family, mentors. These are the ones who will help carry your emotional load when it feels too heavy. When you build a strong support system, you create a network of strength that can buffer the negative impact of toxic individuals. Life becomes more manageable when we realize we don't have to walk the path alone. Strategy number 7, using humor as a shield. Sometimes the best way to deal with toxic people is to not take them too seriously. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And what better way to rise above negativity than by using humor? When you can laugh at the absurdity of someone's toxic behavior, you take away their power to bring you down. Here's a story to illustrate this. There was a clever court jester who served a king notorious for his short temper. One day, the king angrily berated his court over a small mistake. As the tension rose, the jester stepped forward and with a quick joke broke the ice, making everyone, even the king, burst into laughter. His lighthearted humor not only diffused the situation, but reminded everyone how trivial the matter was in the grand scheme of things. Just like the jester, you can use humor as a shield to deflect the negativity of toxic people. Instead of getting sucked into their drama, step back and see the ridiculousness of the situation. Laugh it off, and you'll find that their harsh words lose their sting. Humor helps you keep perspective, reminding you that you don't have to carry their emotional baggage. It's your tool to stay light, even when others are weighed down by their own negativity. Strategy number 8, practicing mindfulness. Toxic people often try to pull us into their emotional storms, drawing out our reactions and feeding off our energy. But Marcus Aurelius taught us to observe things as they are. Practicing mindfulness allows you to step back, be present, and see situations for what they truly are, without getting swept up in the emotional chaos. Here's a short story for you. A young warrior once went to a Zen master to learn how to maintain calm during battle. The master told him to sit by a river and watch it flow. For days, the warrior observed the water rushing over rocks, swirling in eddies, and crashing down small waterfalls. Eventually, he realized that no matter how turbulent the surface of the river, it always returned to calm downstream. The lesson? Emotions are like the river. They come and go. But if you stay mindful and still, they'll pass without pulling you under. When dealing with toxic people, practicing mindfulness allows you to become the observer, not the participant, in their drama. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause and notice your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Let their words and actions flow past you like water over stones, without clinging to them. Mindfulness helps you keep your inner calm, no matter how turbulent the situation gets. You become the peaceful current beneath the surface, unmoved by the chaos around you. Strategy number 9, limiting exposure. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do when dealing with toxic people is to simply limit your exposure to them. Marcus Aurelius understood this when he said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." While you can't always avoid toxic people completely, you can control how much space they take up in your life. Here's a story to illustrate this. There was once a young artist who lived in a busy town full of distractions and noise. Every day, people would criticize her work, and the constant negativity began to wear her down. One day, she decided to move to a quiet cabin in the countryside, where she could focus on her art without the endless chatter. Away from the constant criticisms, she began to flourish and create her best work. Limiting her exposure to negativity allowed her to grow into the artist she was meant to be. In the same way, you don't need to let toxic people take up all your energy. While it's not always possible to remove them from your life entirely, you can set limits on how often you interact with them. Reducing your exposure to toxic individuals creates space for your peace, growth, and creativity. Just like the artist in the countryside, you'll find that when you surround yourself with positive influences, your true potential can shine. Strategy number 10, letting go of expectations. One of the most frustrating things about toxic people is expecting them to change and constantly being disappointed when they don't. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This means that while we may wish others were different, peace comes from letting go of unrealistic expectations and accepting people as they are. Here's a short story. There was once a fisherman who struggled daily with the unpredictable weather at sea. He would head out, hoping for calm skies and smooth waters, but more often than not, storms would appear without warning. Frustrated, he kept expecting the sea to be gentler. One day, an old sailor told him, "The sea will always be the sea. Don't expect it to change. Learn to sail in whatever conditions you're given." From then on, the fisherman adapted his approach, and while the storms didn't stop, he found peace in navigating them with skill instead of frustration. Just like the fisherman, when you let go of the expectation that toxic people will change, you free yourself from the constant cycle of disappointment. Instead, accept that they may not behave the way you hope, and focus on how you can navigate their presence with grace. By releasing your expectations, you reclaim your peace, knowing that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's actions, but on how you choose to respond to them. Strategy number 11, finding gratitude. It may sound counterintuitive, but even toxic people can teach us valuable lessons. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, challenges, even difficult people, can help us grow. When you shift your perspective and find gratitude for what these experiences teach you, you gain power over the situation. Here's a story for you. There was once a young blacksmith apprentice who worked under a harsh and demanding master. The master criticized his every move and made him redo even the smallest mistakes. Frustrated, the apprentice almost quit, feeling that his master was too hard on him. But years later, after mastering his craft, he realized that the constant pressure had made him a far better blacksmith. What seemed like unfair treatment had actually been the challenge that forged his skill. In the same way, the toxic people in your life might be pushing you in ways you don't realize yet. Maybe they're teaching you patience, resilience, or boundaries. Instead of letting their negativity drag you down, find gratitude for the lessons they unknowingly offer. Toxic people can be like the fire that hardens steel. If you allow yourself to grow from it, you'll emerge stronger and more refined. Gratitude transforms even the hardest situations into opportunities for personal growth. So there you have it, folks. 11 powerful strategies to help you navigate the toxic waters of life. Remember, it's not about changing others, but about changing your own perspective and response. By embracing Stoic principles, you can develop the resilience and wisdom needed to deal with any toxic situation that comes your way. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you dealt with toxic people in your life? What strategies have worked for you? Share your experiences in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more life-changing content. Until next time, keep your head up and your spirit strong.